Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. Hello everybody. This is my non-spoiler review of Deadpool and Wolverine, which I saw last night, Thursday night, opening night, or no, it's preview night, I believe they call it. Okay, first things first. I don't like this movie, but I know so many people who do, and that is okay. We can still be friends. I'm genuinely happy in the most unpatronizing way. I'm serious about this. I'm happy for people who like movies and who like this movie. And I'm even happier that people are excited to go to the movies. My shitty little local movie theater last night was absolutely packed. And I was at a non-IMAX screening for an 8:30 p.m. movie on a Thursday night. The theater was packed. That is great. I love to see it. Okay. The Marvel Cinematic Universe. And me, a love story or a falling out of love story. I see based on my Letterboxd list that I like 26 out of the 34 total MCU movies. That's more than 3/4 of the movies made by Marvel Studios. And you can listen to old episodes of my podcast, Load Bearing Beams, or read old stuff that I used to write on my blog and see that I was so enthusiastic for this franchise. I was exhilarated by it. I had, the same complaints everybody has about the action's not great and these movies all kind of look the same, but I loved the characters and I was just very excited by the storytelling possibilities. But I have very much grown out of love with this franchise the past 5 years. And I've gotten especially sick of multiverses and fan service of the variety that you, the person who is aware of movie industry machinations, you're the smartest of all. Because I am that guy and I am the smartest of all because of my stupid knowledge of movie industry machinations, but I resent feeling pandered to. I remember the moment this turned. It was WandaVision when Evan Peters shows up to play Quicksilver or to play Scarlet Witch's brother. And the only point of that casting was look, see, he played the guy in the other franchise owned by the different studio. Now we own him, see? And it was oh God, this is such a narrowly targeted wink. I really started to feel like this this franchise isn't really for the people anymore, even though it's so super popular. All right, so my expectations for Deadpool and Wolverine were not high going into the movie, but as I walked in and the theater filled up with people, with a very enthusiastic crowd, a crowd giddy with excitement, I was sure this crowd was going to help the movie win me over. And things start kind of promising. I enjoy the opening credits as Deadpool dances around to bye bye bye. But then things get awkward. The vibe in the theater shifted. My crowd was so ready to explode into applause and laughter, and it just never happened. There were polite chuckles when one cameo happened. There was one person in the theater who started clapping and then very quickly stopped when he realized nobody else would be applauding. There was polite laughter every now and then the movie was over, and that was that. Back to the opening credits. I like that the movie has opening credits. I do like opening credits. It's where I get to learn that this movie has 5 credited screenwriters. That's 5 total men and 4 ampersands. But when the movie was over and I had seen this confetti script on screen play out as a movie, I was surprised that it was only 5 screenwriters. What the MCU reminds me of more and more these days is WWE. WWE is constantly criticized for prioritizing fans' nostalgia for the wrestling stars of previous generations over developing new stars for the next generation. For example, this year's WrestleMania was headlined by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who hasn't been a full-time wrestler since 2004. So at WrestleMania 2015, a very old Triple H faced an even older Sting. Neither of them could really move anymore, and the match was stodgy and boring, but then you have to watch old ass Kevin Nash and Scott Hall move around and the energy goes down again until you wait for the next surprise entrance. Oh my God! That's this movie. The only time it generates any energy is from cheap cameos and needle drops from songs that you like. I believe the MCU started out so strongly because from the beginning it cast really great actors playing really distinctive and likable characters who audiences loved, and they starred in their individual movies that felt distinctly their own. The personalities of the movies matched the personalities of the characters who were at the center of them, and the studio gave a little more leeway to filmmakers to put their own unique stamp on those early movies. Jon Favreau and Joe Johnston, and even like Joss Whedon, who I don't like as a filmmaker, the Avengers feels like a Joss Whedon movie, and the characters' relationships with each other stays consistent over time. It grows based on things that you see the characters go through. What these characters mean to each other tracks logically and emotionally over time. And that is just gone from this series. And that's because of many things. But I mean, the multiverse has really been a problem. It's killed the studio's ability to tell stories about people. These aren't people anymore. They are names. They are names with interchangeable traits. Mix and match, whatever the script calls for. Wherever you need Deadpool or Logan or Scarlet Witch or whoever to be in this movie, just put them there. It doesn't matter what they've been through before. It's always a hard reset. And people just accept it because it's like, well, that's what this series is. But none of it feels like anything anymore. And Deadpool calls this out because he's always breaking the fourth wall, that scamp. He says, like, aren't we sick of the multiverse? Isn't this a problem? But that's not enough. You need to actually fix the problem. Like Hugh Jackman as Logan/Wolverine, he is my favorite all-time superhero performance, but in this movie, he's not the same Logan that we know. He hasn't been through the things that we've seen him go through. So even though he's been through like adjacent things, so you have sort of residual affection for him, and he's a great actor and he's good in this movie, but you don't connect to him in the same way because you're like, but you haven't gone through all the stuff I've seen you go through, so I'm not connected to you in the same way that I used to be. Ryan Reynolds, on the other hand, he has to sell you that this entire movie's plot happens because Wade Wilson cares so much about the people from his world, the people from the old Deadpool movies. Conspicuously absent is TJ Miller, who it would be funny if Deadpool pointed that out, but he doesn't. Spoiler alert, I guess. But this isn't in the performance at all. Ryan Reynolds does not sell me on Wade Wilson and Deadpool caring about the people in his life. That's just not inherently who Deadpool is. And this is kind of my problem with all the Deadpool movies is I want them to be more nihilistic and more misanthropic, but they want you to love this guy. And that's a problem for me. So on an even more fundamental level, the problem the MCU has these days is making movies that have basic filmmaking craft. Like this is a super rudimentary problem. People have been complaining about MCU movies looking bad for a long time, and this movie does look bad. But I'm talking about really, really fundamental stuff like blocking a scene, like putting actors in the right places in the frame, having scenes that lead from one to another, plot beats that have effects that are a result of earlier causes. Because in this movie, things just happen. Actors will just stand around awkwardly and read MCU Wikia fandom pages to each other, or I should say at each other. The action sequences, they go on, and they feel like nothing. Nothing has any impact, any bite, but a fun pop song will usually be playing while the action sequence is happening. So you're like, oh yeah, I like this. Eventually, the running time is extinguished. The movie's over. Get out of here. I watched Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2 earlier this week. I hadn't seen either one since they came out in theaters. And I disliked Deadpool 1 and I liked Deadpool 2, but it confirmed for me that I don't like Deadpool himself as a character and I don't like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. And yet this new movie, which by about minute 40, it is very much not a Deadpool movie anymore. He has been totally shunted to the side, and I am begging Deadpool to seize back control of the movie to make it into a Deadpool movie, which I don't even like because it has been replaced by the MCU's most boring movie that they've ever made. I couldn't stand it. I was so bored. I was like, I could barely pay attention. I wanted this movie to end so badly. Deadpool, please save me. And he won't. Occasionally he pushes his way back into the middle of the frame to start chatterboxing again, and it's like it feels completely off because this isn't a Deadpool movie. Like we're talking about serious MCU stuff here. Deadpool, get out of here. Deadpool, go. And lest you think that Deadpool is allowed to criticize the MCU, think again. He makes like the most toothless of jabs at the MCU. He'll say stuff like, "Oh, folks, it hasn't been the same since Endgame, has it?" And it's like, I mean, the movie, one of the first things you see in the movie in the opening credits is a Kevin Feige production. So like, make no mistake about who the auteur of this movie is. This actually reminds me of another Fox property that has been absorbed by Disney, and that is The Simpsons. And The Simpsons, when it was owned by Fox back in its glory 90s days, would make fun of Fox all the time. Ned Flanders says, watch Fox and be damned for all eternity. Rupert Murdoch is in jail, etc., etc. But now The Simpsons, as a Disney property, is happy to produce shorts for Disney Plus, where Lisa Simpson is a Disney princess, where Maggie Simpson gets to lightsaber fight with Rey, and Thor appears. And don't we love Disney? We love it, folks. We love it. Deadpool's doing the same. Deadpool you're going to fit right in as a team player. So I return again to the WWE analogy. Maybe Marvel is correct that it can make money for the next 20 years just doing surprise cameos, fan service, and returning legends. There is no doubt in my mind that Robert Downey Jr. will return in the future, and people will like it, but then they'll get kind of sick of it, and then Marvel will be like, I don't know, let's cross over with DC. Yeah, good. And then people are going to get sick of that. Like, what's going to generate new fans? What's going to make people nostalgic for the new characters who are emerging this decade that they can do their own crossover 10 years from now? I don't know. Those are my thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. What did you think? I'm sure you think I'm wrong, and I probably am. As always, I'm just a dumb guy talking to a computer. All right, love you. Bye.